How's it going, guys? I wanted to take a few minutes in this video to do a side-by-side comparison of a couple of pistols. If you've read the title, you know which one we're going to be focusing on, and that is, of course, the Glock 30 SF. Now, this is not a new gun to me. You guys know that the majority of times I do not do reviews or anything like that on guns that are brand new out of the box. Not saying that I won't do that in the future, but this is a gun that I have had for several years. In fact, I got this gun shortly after the SF model came out on the market. For those of you that do not know, the Glock 30 SF is 45 caliber. It's a very compact handgun. In fact, you'll see my Glock 19 laying next to it. As far as a comparison, now guys, I'm not going to do a safety check on this video. As we all know, these guns have been safety checked prior to recording, but I just wanted to get into that and mention that before we get any further. Now, this gun, of course, being the 30 SF, this is the second model that Glock come out with this. There were a lot of people that were taking the slides from the 30 and changing them out, going with a different slide on them, and Glock caught on to what was happening and actually came out with an offering where the slide is a little bit thinner. If you look at the slide on this compared to one of the Glock 30s, this slide is a little bit narrower, a little bit more concealable, and it is a something that may be a choice for some people as a concealed carry firearm. This is one that I have carried before. I generally carry a Glock 19, but this is one that I have carried before. Now, you can see the size comparison between the Glock 19 and the 30 SF. There's very little bit of difference in the two, but there is a lot of horsepower in this compared to the 9mm. Of course, 45 ACP, a very good round. Now, a lot of people would choose a Glock 19 for the simple fact that a lot of your modern ammo is very capable of performing very well, and you get the additional ammo capacity. However, for you guys in the more communist dominated states where your ammunition capacity is limited, something like this would be a good choice if you like the 45 round in particular. If I had my choice between a 9mm and a 45, for me, I would go with a 45, but the reason that I choose a 9mm again is because the ammo is very capable today. The technology in ammo is very capable of performing the way that we need it to. But if I was limited on ammo capacity, then I'm going to go with the 45. Now, of course, these, the magazine, it's a standard 10 round magazine that comes with the 30 SF. Now, you can use the Glock 21 mags in these and give yourself a little bit more capacity. But something that I want you to notice on the 30 SF is the way that the front of the slide is beveled. Now, this is something that's a little bit unique for this type of gun. Now, the Glock 19, they didn't start beveling the slide on them until we got to the Gen 5s. You can see the comparison between the two here. Now, the Gen 5 Glock 19, one criticism of it is the slide to frame fit, particularly in the early production runs of these. If you run your finger over that, there is just a little bit of roughness there. It's not as even as it should be. But now on the 30 SF, it's a little bit smoother actually. I mean, it's not perfect, but it is just a little bit smoother. It looks like they took just a little bit more time to make sure that things fit together just a little bit better than what they did on some of the early production runs of the Glock 19. Now, you will also notice the grip on the 30 SF. Without the magazine in it, you're just getting two fingers on the gun, or I am, just with my hand size. But the magazine itself, the mag well, the extension there, does let me get a full grip on the gun, and I have no issues firing it. Of course, 45 does have a little bit more recoil than the 9mm, but still I have no issues managing recoil with the 45. And of course another gun, just for size comparison, my Sig. You can see here the general size comparison between these three guns. They're very similar. I'm a big fan of the compact size. I've got a couple videos on this Sig. I'll try to put a link to some of them down in the description. But that's the type of size, that's generally the size that I like going with in a lot of my guns. I really like that compact size. I do like some full frames, but the compact size is really handy for me. This is kind of my preference, what they feel in my hand and that sort of thing. But the Glock 30 SF, if you are someone, as I'd mentioned earlier, that likes 45 for concealed carry, this might be an option for you, especially if you live in some of the more communist states. But I just wanted to get it out here and show it to you guys and do just a little bit of comparison between the two. I know that we don't see a lot of videos on the 30 SF on YouTube as much now. It is an older model firearm, but it is one that's still available and still is very reliable. You know, in the years that I have had this gun, I'll just tell you, I have had one malfunction with that gun. And the problem was when I first got the gun, I was using some cheap white box ammo and I had a stovepipe. Just one round for the entire history of this gun is the only issue that I've had. And I've had this gun for several years. Like I say, I got it shortly after the SF came out onto the market. So it's been very reliable. It's something that if you like the 45, it may be an option for you, especially if you have to have just a limited number of rounds in your gun. Thanks for watching the video. Check out the links down in the description below. Visit my website at boomsticktactical.com and let me hear from you guys. What do you think between a comparison of these two guns? Do you prefer the 45 over the 9mm? If ammo capacity was not an issue, if you could only have 10 rounds in a 9mm or 10 rounds in a 45, what would your choice be? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.